Hi, I'm Trevor, and this is Raised on Film. Does it ever feel like the movies we are viewing are just the same ideas, recycled and repackaged again and again? Not just in terms of sequels, prequels, reboots, remakes, or spin-offs, but also completely separate properties which just feel the same. One of the most striking instances I ever had of this was when I saw The King's Speech, a 2010 drama about King George VI having to overcome a crippling stammer in the face of his sudden ascension to the throne.
The king.
It's an impeccably performed, cheeky English historical drama about a man taking elocution lessons. And while that may sound boring or lifeless, it's a really moving, highly watchable, and strange film that took home the Academy Award for Best Picture. And one that I couldn't help feeling was strikingly similar to this.
Here! And some more. Here! And some more. Here! Here! Here!
This is the 1984 film The Karate Kid. It follows Daniel LaRusso, a teenage transplant from New Jersey who finds himself friendless with his mother in California. He quickly makes enemies when he flirts with the wrong girl. He is mocked, emasculated, and beaten up upon arrival, and quickly surmises there is only one solution to his problems.
I gotta take karate, that's it.
You took karate?
No, not at the Y, at a good school.
Only to find out that not only is the local dojo run by the biggest asshole in all of 80s cinema,
You lose concentration of fighting your dead meat.
Yes, Sensei.
What?
Yes, Sensei.
Get up!
but also that the kid who beat him up is the star pupil. This story may seem far removed from the highfalutin world of the King's Speech, but Daniel LaRusso and George VI are about to partake in essentially the exact same journey when they meet their foils, the ones who will serve as guides, challenging and lifting them to their greatest potential.
I promise teach karate. That to my part. You promise learn.
I can cure your husband, but for my method to work, I need trust and total equality.
George, seemingly without any other resort, reaches out to Lyle Logue, a down-on-his-luck would-be actor and teacher living a humble life with an even humbler reputation. His methods are unorthodox, especially in the stiff world of the 1930s English monarchy, and George meets him with great resistance.
Forget about the blessed shilling!
Daniel is also reticent to Mr. Miyagi's methods.
Wax on, wax off.
While the pact Daniel made was to be Mr. Miyagi's karate pupil, he instead finds himself working as his servant and being taken advantage of.
Damn it!
Both Lyle Logue's and Mr. Miyagi's methods come to an illuminating fruition.
Show me wax on, wax off.
That!
Why should I waste my time listening
Because I have a right to be, and I have a voice!
Yes, you do.
From these points, the true student-teacher potential can be realized, which can only mean one thing. It's time for a montage. But as the relationships begin to flourish, all four of our main characters begin to realize that the greatest lesson is not one of student-teacher, but one of friends. In the case of George, this requires him to humble himself, break with customs, and open up to Lyle, not as a king and his subject, or as a student and a teacher, but as equals. Both George and Daniel find themselves foisted into two situations they feared the most. George must now act as the voice of his people in the face of one of the greatest orators of his time.
Oh shit, Adolf Hitler?
And Daniel, not even a yellow belt, is entered into a karate tournament against the fearsome Cobra Kai.
But you don't show.
And it's open season. On him. And you.
What an amazing asshole. LaRusso has no problem at least trying to make friends, but when we first meet him, Mr. Miyagi seems to have no need of companionship. He is satisfied enough with his bonsai trees, his attempt to catch flies with chopsticks, and improving his already amazing home. His penchant for self-preservation, we learn, comes as a result of his long-dead wife and his experiences fighting in World War II. But his relationship with Daniel soon opens him up to the potential that life grants us. He finds solace and comfort in bolstering LaRusso.
Win, lose, no matter. You make good fight and respect.
And in turn gives him reason to seek something greater. LaRusso's success will be Mr. Miyagi's as well.
I'm just saying you could be king. You could do it.
That is treason.
I'm trying to get you to realize you needn't be governed by fear.
I've had enough of this.
Lyle's methods require a level of trust from George which is unparalleled in his very sheltered royal life. He has let no one get close to him, and his position as prince/king has only expanded his distance from anyone else. It begins as Lyle acting more as a therapist than a teacher. In order for the king to overcome his impediment, he is required to become vulnerable. Along the way, the king is fettered with the greatest challenge yet. He must address his subjects in a speech regarding the impending war with Germany, a task which will challenge the will of not just the student but also the teacher. In a surprisingly heart-stopping climax, George gives a speech, nearly mastering his stammer, which gives hope and emboldens his nation in increasingly tense times, with Logue supporting him from the side.
You still stammered on the W.
I had to throw in a few, so they knew it was me.
Everything LaRusso has learned about karate being more than how to kick and punch, but how to think and live, is put to the ultimate test at the karate competition. He surprises even himself by making his way through the tournament, besting one competitor after another, until that devious karate teacher deploys his lackeys to go beyond the rules and ensure Daniel's failure.
But I'll be disqualified.
Out of commission.
But Daniel has come too far and has been taught too well to allow himself to give up. Even when Mr. Miyagi himself says he's done enough, Daniel persists. In the final climactic moments, LaRusso comes face to face with his ultra-blonde antagonist and his unscrupulous sensei.
Sweep the leg.
And when all his chips are down and everything is on the line, Daniel and Miyagi come together in a brilliant moment of trust and faith, attempting a very advanced form of martial art he is not yet trained in.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Both films inspire us to seek deeper relationships with those in our lives. Our greatest potential comes not from those who congratulate or bolster us, but from those who challenge us to be better people and for those who stay with us through strife. Through all these challenges, both pairs of characters transcend the prescribed boundaries of the student-teacher relationship they entered into. The Karate Kid and the King's Speech are almost comically similar in their structure, pacing, themes, and even tone, despite being set in very different eras with very different subjects. And they are not the only films like this. You don't have to search very far to find films which adhere to this formula. And why not? It's a winning formula, and it makes for some very winning films. Perhaps you've heard the old adage that there are really only 7 basic stories, and everything since them is just rehashing or reimagining those stories. This may be true, though not the whole truth, but that should not discourage us from seeing familiar stories or stop us from creating our own for fear of being unoriginal. The King's Speech and The Karate Kid are both great films, or arguably the same great film, and they show us that when it comes to making a good story, tried and true formulas are tried and true for a good reason. And it isn't about what story is being told, but finding the best way to tell it.